Yes, good morning guys and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. We saw some massive moves towards the end of last week with NFP. So let's dive in and see what is next. So starting off with EURUSD, EURUSD sold off aggressively in towards the downside, pretty much in line with what our thoughts were. Remember, we were bearish on the daily time frame, with this being over here our swing high, this being our swing low. We liquidated the highs, kind of formed this ascending wedge pattern, and now we're breaking out. So we've seen quite the big move. We've seen a change in the overall fractal structure here on the daily. So now this entire buy before the sell, and this entire, let's say, range over here is now your area of supply. So once we see a pullback in towards that region, we will be looking for downside continuation. Obviously, after such a big impulse, we do expect a pullback of some form at some given time. If it's either going to be big or small, that depends on how we react in towards this overall buy for the sell. But obviously over here we had a big move, you see the pullback. Obviously over here we had a big move, you see the pullback. Even after this massive move, you see obviously a massive pullback. So yeah, keep my eyes open. Somewhere over here, the pullback will be initiated potentially, although I must say I don't really see any clear areas of, demand here to our left. So I'll just be waiting to see what happens on the lower time frame. But that's pretty much the daily for you. Now going in towards the 4 hour, based on the 4 hour, what I'm going to be looking for, let's say this is your refined area of supply, right? So this is kind of like the refined buy for the sell-off. Then looking to the left over here, this over here, and let me just copy this zone, and I'm gonna make this one smaller. This over here is a fresh area of demand. So as you can see, we just missed out on that fresh area of demand. So potentially we could still hit just slightly lower, and otherwise I'll be looking for this 4 hour area of demand, from where I'm going to be looking to trade a potential pullback. So in order to trade that potential pullback, we need to see some shift in market structure in the form of, for example, a change of character. So keep that in mind. We could just still trickle down lower. Let's really wait for some confirmation before taking longs. Now moving onwards in towards the dollar index. The dollar index broke up higher. Obviously, as well, last week we mentioned this is your overall swing low, this is the overall swing high. So we're really in the extreme of the overall range. Obviously, there's not like real clear demand. We just liquidated this low and started chopping. Now news has pushed price up. So that means that that this overall internal downtrend, which we had over here, right, with lower high, lower low, has now broken. So we've now broken this swing high over here, and now obviously we're going to look for further upside continuation. Very similar to your USD, this is where the refined demand lies, but we could easily already react to, for example, this imbalance candle over here on the dollar index. So yeah, definitely looking for upside continuation in line with, let's say, the overall daily and 4 hour trend. So that's the dollar index. Let's move in towards Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar, let's just start off with the daily first of all. So here on the daily is pretty much bullish, okay? So this is the daily. We had the lower low, the lower low, and then we have the trend shift here by breaking this lower high. So that means that this is your higher high and this is your low at the moment. So we're now looking to form a potential new higher low. But for that to happen, we have to look on the daily. Is there any clean areas of demand? Well, there is not really any clean area of demand. Like you had, for example, this strong sell before the buy. But as we can see, that is already not fresh anymore. But I am now looking for the market to at least take out this liquidity low and push beneath it. So that is pretty much what I'm looking for in Aussie dollar. Looking here on the daily time frame, it would make sense for us to push in towards this supply zone, go in towards the 4 hour then, and then you'll see that's also a nice area of supply. So this is like the buy before the sell-off. For the rest, I mean, what you can see is that we've kind of like liquidated the low of this overall range that I had drawn in. You can see we perfectly sold off from the 75% mark in towards the downside. Now, this could kind of like be a liquidity play and pull back in towards, let's say, this buy before the sell-off, before then, for example, heading down lower in towards this fresh area of demand, for example. So I'm only going to be looking for a short from there. So that's that. Going in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar has just sold off in towards demand. Looking here at the daily, like I also mentioned this last week, this is like a really fresh area of supply. This is your swing high, this is your swing low, obviously looking for further downside continuation of this corrective ascending price action. Going towards the 4 hour. So what I would want, well, at least what I expect is that we're definitely going to take out this trend line over here. That's why price is currently stalling. Overall, what you can really clearly see is that we liquidated this high over here perfectly. So a lot of people who had the stop loss there got hit out. Now, what I'm actually looking for more is to see what is the momentum we're going to do today. Are we going to see bearish momentum? So for example, over here, this was a fractal low. This high of this bullish candle was a fractal high. Are we just going to see like the market continue with heavy selling pressure, or are we going to break that fractal high, pull back in towards, for example, this area of supply, and then, for example, start selling off? So those are two things that I'm looking at. Either we short maybe in the New York session or tomorrow with the overall momentum. Otherwise, if we break this high and the momentum shifts, we just wait for supply over here to do its thing. Okay? And then look for those sells. Now going in towards Kiwi dollar and gold. So Kiwi dollar over here broke demand. Yeah, overall quickly going in towards the daily. Sadly, we just failed to take out this swing high. Overall, what I'm looking at is what the market will do inside demand over here. So just waiting pretty much to see what demand will do. It's a strong demand zone. So why is this a strong demand zone, by the way? And what is it exactly? Well, it is this imbalance candle. This imbalance candle over here took out this supply. So yeah, looking for that potential pullback play back in towards the highs. If we break it, by the way, then I'll just be looking to trade 4 hour momentum in towards the downside. Going towards the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, inside of these wicks, I guess that's where demand lies. If we break it, just follow the momentum in towards this next area of demand. If we kind of like see a, let's say, change of character, we could trade this back up higher in towards here. Very similar. All these dollar pairs are very similar. And then we'll just look for that bigger sell-off then. Okay, so that's pretty much the game plan here on NZDUSD. And last of all, gold. So gold sold off aggressively with news. Obviously, everybody's saying like, oh, we have a head and shoulders over here. I don't trade head and shoulders, but you can just keep that in mind. Obviously, we do trade market structure. And if we look at market structure, what is now happening is that pretty much this overall swing high got broken from this swing low. So as long as this swing low over here is respected, we are still bullish. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. So you could look for one kind of like final long again. Then again, wait for kind of like the 4 hour change of character. So what you would want to see is this low go and then boom, boom, something like this, because then this becomes your fractal high and then you could look for that long. Otherwise, for now, just keep an eye on this imbalance candle over here, because this imbalance candle is now your supply zone. So if we pull in towards there, maybe try one short from there. If that breaks, then obviously wait for us to hit, let's say, this buy before the sell-off, which is your next supply zone. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Wish you a fantastic day and speak soon.